our trip. And this kind of explains where we are, what this is. It's cars that still go across it, trucks and trailers and that, not ours. One lane bridge. This is where you can walk across it. I believe the bridge is coming up from the side. Fort Oregon in New Brunswick. And there's a bunch of cars looking at behind us here. And right near the construction bridge to the second line. And this is where I think that looks like. This is a Confederate bridge that takes over to Pacific Island. The new bridge 5 years ago. We set the bridge back in for it. This is a lawn inside the boat. See the umbrella. This side of the boat or the other side of the boat. On the window, this is where we can go around. This is a gift shop that's on the boat. This is another lounge where you can sit. Nice comfortable seat. This is kind of a theater. We've got two TVs on it. Pulled back and lowered up and laid on the seat and just set an air compressor. This is a cafeteria. We're going to be eating in a few minutes. Look on back the boat. And then it's going to go back to the cafeteria in a different direction. This is the rock. Oh, the ice is on there. That's all we know about it. It's right on the road on the way up to St. Anthony. So we just stop here and take a picture of it. These are icebergs in St. Anthony. There's 6 of them out there. There's a long ways away from here. This is a little lighthouse up here on the end of this road. We're just looking at the icebergs. This is a little iceberg. They call them big beasts. They break off in the big ones. They came into this little channel here. So near Landsaw Meadows, these are 2 icebergs that are just off the shore here, just a little ways. They're not very far off. We're in Landsaw Meadows. This is just a view from the historic building that we're going to be going into in just a minute. Northernmost point in Canada, or in the United States. This is another scene from the same place. We're looking at this video from this direction. There's an idea what this is. I think that's right. very pretty. These are wood piles. The people, the primary heat is wood. And you see these all along the road. All piles of wood. These all belong to individual people. Nobody else is taking it. Just outside the campground. We're not a quarter of a mile away. One right here, right by the campground. Right side of the road. This is a view from the highway we're on. We just come over a hill. This is what you can see. We're at Flowers Cove, and this is a lighthouse that's out here on the end of the little island out there. You can't get to it by boat, but it's just a little scenic spot along the edge of the road. This is a ferry that goes to Labrador. It's just coming back from Labrador now. Just coming docking in here now. So we just seen it coming in as we're coming down the road. So we say, well, we'll drive in here and we'll have to dock and unload.
We're sitting along the road, and these are gardens that people plant because they can't do it in their yards because of the rats.
Now, is that on? Turn it back on. This is North Point, and it's in Rosemore National Park. We just drove all down below here through these creeks and stuff like this. That little village way out there that you can see way out in front of there, that's Woody Point, they call it. The only way you can get over there is by boat. This is Lobster Cove Lighthouse. It's just from the campground, just a little ways away from the campground where we're at in Rosemore Park. Built in the 1800s. Still. This is a Newfoundland dog in Rosemore Park. They're few and far between. The big iceberg, and we're at Dead Man's Cove, we're way out in the middle of nowhere. We're now in Twillingate, the end of the road. This is one iceberg. There's a big one down the line that we're going to try and see if we can find pretty soon. This is that same iceberg, but I'm a little bit closer to it now than it was before. I don't know if this is a picture of the Twillingate Lighthouse. This is the end of the road. We can't go any further. We're right up to the end of the ocean here, so this is as far as we can go. This is another iceberg out in Twillingburg. This is a tall one. This is probably about 8 or 10 stories high.
That must
This is an owl and this little one, right in the rocks in the nest, right outside the road that we're driving down through here. These are some airplanes by the Air Force Museum in Gander. These are two more. This is the back of this airplane. It's in that museum. Back end of it is back end of it going into the front of the building. Now this is the front end coming out of the back of the building. Looks like the airplane's going right through the whole building. This is a house in Gander, and the place is so rocky that they can't build basements, so they build their basement on top of the ground and they build their house on top of it. That's what all their houses look like here. There's another one that's across the street. It's the same way. We're now in Cape Spear, just outside of St. John's. That's a lighthouse that's working since the early 1800s. It's still working. This is the old lighthouse. 1836 this was built, and it's still operating. This is a picture of the St. John's Harbor. There's a whole bunch of fishing boats and the view from the top of Signal Mountain, just outside of St. John's. The town of St. John's is right behind me. There's supposed to be icebergs out here, but there's not one in sight. Looking out the other way, the harbor we were just down by, took some pictures of. Now we're up on Signal Hill. That's the whole town of St. John's in the background. These are all little puffins in the water out here. I don't know how these are going to show up. Boats off the left side. Two mountain boats out here in the middle of this. Three more of them right there. These are little pieces that came off the we're just about out to the iceberg now. We're moving probably 300 yards away from it or something like that. blue in that water. I mean, it's just, you know, it's just beautiful. I think you'll be able to see how blue that water is. It's just beautiful. This is from the other side of the rock now. On the other side where it started.
Nice and warm going back. Nice and warm going back.
We're on our way up to St. Bride. This is a picture just right along the road. Just a scenic picture. That water is so blue. This is a bird island, and that is all birds on that stone. All big rocky cliffs there. And it's covered, but all that white is all little birds. Not little birds, but stuff like peacocks. I don't know what the name of them are, but there's just millions of them. Come out of the forest. Go for sheep and eat the two little ones. It's another view from the trail that we're walking up behind that center up there where we used to stand. Beautiful view up there. We're back now on the end of the trail, and these are all what they call gannets. That's what was in that other picture too, where I took a little earlier. I didn't know what the name of them were, so we just asked the people down here. And these are gannets. That's the name of the bird. They're a bit bigger bird. They're like the seagull. But there's just millions of them down here. I don't know what kind these are either. These are different birds, a little smaller birds. There's gray and white. There's just a million of them around here too. Another view from up there. We're walking back now to the visitor center. This is where we're camped. We're behind a grocery store. There's 9 spots here with electric and sewer. And this is backed up right against the ocean. This is back from the back of our trailer. Looking out. That's what we can see. We've been here for 2 nights. This gives you a little idea what the roads look like. I mean, it's that way all over here. No matter where you go up a hill and down a hill. This is looking out to the south. This is the hill going out the other way. This is where we're going to be going out this morning to get over to the Trans-Canada Highway. Got to go up here about 2 miles and then turn left. But that's the kind of hills. I don't know if it's going to show up on here exactly how steep this is, but this is quite steep. This is the town of Trinity, and it's a real old town dating back to the 1800s. All the houses are built. Well, some of them are 180 years old in here. This is a church that we're going to be going into in just a minute, in the inside. As you can see the dates on the sides of them. And the other 2 times it'll be burnt down and they just rebuilt it. It's built back to just about the original. We're now on the inside of that church. And I just took pictures of from outside. This is taken from the front of the church to the back.
Put it in square. That's right. Do that. Always somebody in the presence.
This is the back of that Matthew where they'll back it out when the tide comes up. They'll be backing it out of this building tomorrow morning. That is just one huge ship. This is another iceberg just outside of Newburgh or Newberry. Another cove. There's two great big ones. Turnout right on the highway just outside of Gambo. It's right from the road. This is the town of Corner Brook, taken from a lookout right on the highway.
This is a typical road in Newfoundland. We were out for a ride. This is our last night in Newfoundland, and they are very narrow, very winding, but water and rock and mountains. This is the southern shore.
This is a scene from the same road, just down the road a little further.
Southern shore.
On southern shore.
Okay, this is the kind of roads we have been driving a lot of. All curly cues.
This is one of the boats that one like we're going to take tomorrow across back to Nova Scotia. It's 6:45 Newfoundland time, and we're on the boat docks. We're ready to get on. We're going to take this boat back over to St. John's, Nova Scotia. We'll be getting on this boat for probably another half hour, 45 minutes for an 8-hour boat ride. This is right by the dock, just before we get off the boat. The boat's about ready to stop right here. This is a view down where our car and truck are. That's how close we are to the trucks that are next to us. We can barely get the door open and get in. This is what the hole looks like down here. It's all cars and trucks around here. This is looking from the other side, where we came on. We're going off to the front. This is looking the other way. And we got all trucks in front of us, and then they put all the cars are on a deck above us. It's all cars. We got cars, trailers, trucks down. This is our campsite in Lewisburg. This is what it looks like out right behind our trailer. Brand new campground. Beautiful place. And the weather has warmed up considerably. It's about 65, 70 degrees. Bright sunshine. We had a nice trip across from Newfoundland. And now we're going to stay here for the night. This is a port in Lunenburg. This is what we stopped here to see. We're in Nova Scotia right now. This is a ceremony they're going to have down here, and they're going to shoot off a cannon in a minute. picture looking out from this port out across this. This is Advocate Bay when the tide is out. We're going to come back tomorrow morning and we'll see these boats, and there'll be the tide's in hopefully, and then boats will be right up to the top. Okay, we're just outside the campground, and this is a harbor, and right now the tide is out. This boat is floating. You can see the ropes where it's tied up. When the tide comes in another 3-4 hours, then that boat will be floating. There'll be water. We'll be right up to that boat, and that boat will be floating in the water. It's stocked right out here. A picture of another ship, the SS Acadia. That was probably in one of the hot battles down here in this harbor, way back when. We're now in Parsboro, Nova Scotia, and our trailer's right behind us. And this is the view that we got out from our trailer. This is Fundy Bay. This is that same island that's come across, and this is the low tide. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell the difference. Last night, this is right by our trailer. Last night this water was right up, and you can see where it was up, where it's light and gets dark. And now it's out that far, so the tide has gone way out. So it's gone out that far. Since last night to this morning. This is an example. Last night when we came here, I could just see the very top of that rock. The rest of it was completely covered. Now it's dry, so the tide has gone out that far, but you can see just the very, very top of that. Last night, the rest of it was all underwater. We're now at St. John's Reversing Falls, and right now the water is flowing from our left to our right, and it's at high tide. And so the next picture that I take, or maybe the next picture that I take, I'll be taking it when it's completely stopped, and then when it starts going back the other way, which will be in about an hour. It's now 8:25, and the water's completely stopped. Now we'll wait for 20 minutes, and then we'll see it go back the other way. See how that water over there, the white part, is just standing right still? And I'll take it pretty soon, and you'll see it going back the other way. Now you see that white water over there now, across? It was just going the other way just a few minutes ago. Now it's going back the other way. So the river has reversed. It's going from right to left now, and it was going from left to right. Now it'll just keep flowing faster and faster and faster as it builds up. Until it gets low tide. Now you can see how that white water has spread out and it's flowing the other way. Okay, it's 11:15 the next morning, and that water that we just saw just before this was just starting to flow back. Now this is how fast it's running now, and it's headed back out in that other direction. This too was running the other way, and then it comes to a complete stop. Now it's coming back this way, and that's how fast it's running there. Later on in the season, these are some jet boats that you can ride. And they ride these rapids going against them and stuff like that, and gives you kind of a rough ride. But they do ride them out here. We saw them last year. We're in Hamilton, Ontario now, and this is the scene that we got right in front of our trailer. We're parked just a little ways back from here. Went down to Lake Ontario. I think straight across from here now, I think this is Toronto. This is our campsite where we're camped. And that pictures I just took, they were right directly behind me. It's a beautiful campground, huge. And just to the right of here is where we came in. It's a great big water park with a wave pool and water slides and all that kind of stuff. So this is just a beautiful park.